Hi, welcome to the Mac Show. Yes, here to discuss all of the big news in Apple. There's a bit of news this week. Thank you very much, Apple, for bothering to try and do something for us. We do appreciate it immensely. Joining me to discuss the week in Apple news, the big three, of course, the usual amount. Top left, starting us off, it's Amish Doc.
Why I gotta be Amish Doc?
Dude, have you sold the BMW and bought yourself a buggy and horse or something? You
No,
got the old you're rocking the Amish beard there, mate.
No, I was trying to trim the mustache, and of course, being down a finger, I made a mistake, and there was no fixing it. So I was like, well, I could cut it all off like Ewan, or just do Abe Lincoln for about a week and a half, and then it'll be back. So I decided to go for Abe Lincoln and stay in the house.
Have you just come back from a barn raising?
Yeah, something like that.
Raised a barn in Monkeywood. How's the finger doing?
Good. I'm going to pull the stitches out today. I can finally close my hand, so, I mean, that's
awesome.
Kind of good.
That's good. So no using the other hand anymore.
Yeah, it's back to the same old girl.
I was quite impressed. We only got one letter of complaint after my intro last week. I thought I'd get a couple more. Never mind, eh? Next to him, it's Adam in the new room.
The new room.
Awesome.
I got to do some decorating here at some point, but
battling with the quiff. How you been up to, mate?
Good.
Excellent.
Running around in fields.
Yeah, I saw.
Cameras.
Yeah, I saw. Mm-hmm. What Adam's referring to, if you haven't kept up, is the Fantasy Photo League.
Hopefully I've been giving away too much.
Fourth month. It's fourth month. So we're up to season. SEASON, season. If you'd like to submit an entry, it's not too late. You've got until the close of the weekend to get yourself in with an entry. We're doing well. Adam had a very good month last month, didn't you, mate?
I did all right.
Yeah.
You did.
He's already mid-table and he's only put one in. I was feeling pretty proud of himself.
That's just proof it's not too late to start.
Yeah, there we go. Patrice put an image in that no one recognises.
Good.
And he got a couple of votes as well, and he's doing all right. So, yeah, if you want to join the Fancy Photo League, send an email to brishtechnetwork@gmail.com. Send your entry in for season, and we'll include you. And we've grown again this month, so we've got, I think we've got about 45 people now doing it, which is pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool group, actually.
It is. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And every month when you submit your image in, you get votes from people that are looking at it, and you also get votes from me and commentary from me and a touch of advice. And if you send your image in and it's not good enough, I'll send it back with some suggestions to make some changes, as I did with Adam this morning. And you'll get to put it in again. So, you know, it's about learning. It's about growing. It's about getting better as a photographer. But Doc still hasn't sent anything in.
You know, I've been doing that stuff. I think people call it work.
You can't talk to me about that, mate. There's a thing here that if you're going to come, you've got to bring a bigger hammer than the one that I'm carrying. And I'm sorry, but just not possible.
So you're saying we're still allowed to...
You never say that to a female unless you hang out in certain bars.
No, I had someone say to me the other day, said, "Oh, I might be getting redundant in about 3 months' time." I'm like, I haven't had work more than 3 weeks for the last 20 years. You're asking for sympathy from the wrong person, mate. Go on, Adam. Sorry, you were saying something.
I was saying, yeah. So, are you saying we're allowed to tweak and resubmit before the deadline?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
So all the changes I sent this morning were, go change it, man. There you go. Sorted. And last but by no means least, the man with the golden arches himself.
Yes.
McDonald's answer to Koblenz. Patrice, how you doing, mate?
Doing great, actually. Have a long weekend ahead of me. Monday, here there's a public holiday here in Germany and I think a couple of other countries. So will be an interesting weekend, but I'm looking forward to it.
April and May is a bridging month, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, basically, yes. I mean, I was scheduling a business trip and I had to schedule it out for, I think, mid-July because of all the holidays and all the other things going on. It's basically impossible to do anything in May or June.
No, I've been into a few German firms and flown out there and they're like, no, it's closed today. And you're like, what? It's a bridging day. Bridging day.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's May Day on the 1st, and then there's a bank holiday on the Friday, and then the Monday, and then there's another bank holiday on the Thursday, so we might as well have the rest of the week off. Come on.
Yeah, pretty much.
It is that much, they are that much of a bunch of lazy bastards.
A little bit of both, probably.
I've got to say, mate, how the hell you ever fought a war is beyond me.
Yeah, don't ask me. I wasn't there.
No.
Maybe that's why.
While we're on the subject, then, we'll start off straight away because Patrice's, although he still hasn't got Apple Pay, Patrice's Mac store and iTunes store prices have gone up.
Yeah, or they are about to go up, I think.
Well,
I don't know when.
Yeah, they're notified of increases. So everyone that deals in the euro is getting bent over. Bad luck, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it was expected. I think they increased prices in the UK, right? A couple of months ago.
That was because we were stupid and we voted to leave the European Union.
Yeah,
so it's we got hawked by the crap pound, but.
But I mean, the euro has been really, really, bad and really, slow, actually, I would call it. So the exchange rates are low are low for the euro to the US dollar, and I think that's what's impacting us here right now. So that's why it's increasing.
Doc's just sent Doc's just sent an SMS to the four of us. Taking the piss head. That's not fair. You can't use that. I think it's harsh, mate, because you don't get Apple Pay anymore, and then they're still wanting them. Give us the shekel, boy. Give us the shekel. And you've got to give it.
Yeah.
First real story.
Let's pay gold.
Is OS 10 DOK virus malware / horrible shit has been found. It's catching up. It reads your HTTPS traffic. And what's really worrying is it's a signed piece of software with an Apple signature on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not really worrying because basically you get this certificate for free. So all you have to do is sign up for a developer account, and that's it.
Not free, but almost free.
Well,
no, I think you can sign applications even with a free just sign up certificate or free account. You don't even have to pay the $99.
Surely, I would have thought logic would dictate that you should have to submit a piece of software that is authorized, and then you get your certificate.
You can get a signing certificate. You only need to submit it for review if you're trying to get it through the App Store. And in this case, they're distributing it direct through an email. Now, obviously, I know iOS is the opposite way, but they've never backtracked on the Mac. But I mean, enough of this kind of thing going on, we could get to the point where it's like Mac becomes like iOS, and you have to get everything through the App Store.
That's definitely possible. Apple did it this way. Not shut out everybody who wants to create apps that you probably wouldn't get through the App Store app review. Things like that. Really things that are like Bartender, for example, that are changing the way the system is behaving. I would have my doubts that it's possible to get that through any sort of App Store review. Right. So they simply said, okay, you have to sign up, you have to get a certificate, you have to sign it, but then it will run. And if there's an issue with it, then we will revoke the certificate, so the application will not run anymore, and we will kill your account. And you will be barred from signing up again, which, is no real threat, I would say.
Right.
Your firstborn child.
Well,
yes. Blood in your if you want to buy an Apple product.
It's easy enough to just sign up for another developer account.
Sure, because there's no verification other than I have an email address.
That's going to change then, surely.
Yeah. Well, I don't know really what they could do. The one thing, and again, I need to look into this deeper. I'm not convinced, Patrice, that you can sign an app with a free certificate. That would be the one way to sort of help prevent this, is if there is a cost to somebody to try and do this. There has to be some sort of barrier for just signing up for an account.
Well, for the guys who are creating malware, I don't think the $99 would be a barrier, because if they can earn potentially even millions,
exactly,
then
I thought, yeah.
it doesn't matter. And as I said, as far as I know, there is no. I mean, maybe our listeners can write in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say 90% certain that it's possible simply with the standard account.
What, and probably the bigger part of the story is not that this thing exists because, malware is going to exist and people are going to do this. What I appreciate about it is the sophistication that they went through. Like, this is one of the most sophisticated pieces of malware I think I've seen in a long time.
So in essence, what happens is you go to install something and then it tells you that the installer failed.
Well,
and then it asks for your root password, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, what happens is they use pretty much every trick in the book, right? So the first thing is they get assigned cert, and they write an app that's going to do some stuff, and they sign it. Second thing is they use a sophisticated phishing scam to try and get people to install this. It looks like it's targeting mostly European users, and basically you get a message saying, "Hey, there's a problem with your taxes. Open this zip file," which right there, I mean, that's your alert. Most of us, know that that's a problem. But I mean, if you think of the average user, you've just done your taxes and you're getting this official looking letter from the tax people, and they're saying, "Hey, there's a problem with this. Review this document." And then you open up this zip file, and it basically gives itself execute permissions, and then copies itself into your downloads folder, and then runs a bunch of stuff, and then throws up a message, I think, that it says, we tried to open this document in preview, because you would assume it was a PDF. Something went wrong, and then you have to click OK. And then it does a bunch of other things. It puts itself into your login items, and then it also runs another application that says, "Hey, there was a security problem. You need to update your Mac. Click this update all button," and that message takes over your entire Mac. Like, you cannot do anything until you click the button, and then it's going to ask for your admin password. And if you put your admin password in, that's when the real damage happens, because then it goes in, installs a proxy server, installs a package installer at the root level, gives itself root access, starts redirecting all your traffic, and then that's when you're
there is a lot of flags in that, though, isn't that whole process you just read out? There is a lot of flags. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
but again, you have to think of the mentality of the average person. They get to the screen, it says there's a security problem. They can't move forward until they click the button and put in their admin password. And a lot of people are like, "I just want control of my machine back," and they do something stupid. You
got to say that the zip file attached to a tax advice has got to be right up there with Nigerian prince by now, surely.
Again, yes. But the point is there's so many people that will fall for this sort of thing. It's not the 1% of tech users, or even the 5% of sort of aware users. It's the 95% of everybody else that they're out.
And if the email that they have in here is, anywhere near the real thing, then it's a pretty bad one as well, because it basically is the same text twice with a lot of encoding issues, and simply no tax attorney or anybody would write an email like that.
And we forgot the part too where it installs a root signed CA certificate into your keychain, meaning that they're routing, even when you're using HTTPS, they have a valid certificate going through their servers. So you think you're browsing to secure, banking websites or whatever, and they're actually spoofing it all and grabbing your data and information. So there's once this is in your system, there's very little warning, that there's anything else wrong, right? And it cleans up after itself. So it deletes most of the stuff that it's installed, so you won't even see these sorts of things.
Yeah.
So I think the important thing for people now is, Apple's probably going to revoke the certificate probably before anybody even hears this podcast. So that'll shut the whole thing down. But if
probably already done.
Yeah,
if somebody has this on their system, I think the important thing to know is you're going to want to look in your network settings under proxies and see if there's a weird, proxy in there. I think that's the one giveaway if you already have it. You could also look for the root cert. We probably should link to the Checkpoint article for people, and then also look in login items and see if you have an item with a preview logo called App Store. And if you have that in there in your login items, then you probably have this thing on your system.
So I got a question.
Go on.
Yeah.
Like when the window pops up, what happens if you just reboot the machine?
You've tried to install it at that point. It's still...
Right. No. He's talking about the window where it says install the software update. It would have already
that's too late.
Partially installed at that point. I don't know if it would re-pop up that message. I don't know.
I think that's the whole point of this login item.
Oh yeah, it will.
Basically.
Yeah, it'll re-pop up that, because right before that message comes up, Doc, that's the login item, and installs this thing called App Store as a login item, and that gets run every time you log in. And I would assume it would check and see, is this other stuff set up, and if it's not, it's going to pop up that OS 10 update thing again.
So taking it out is just reboot it and remove the login item kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah, you'd have to remove the login item, and then the App Store app. Just so people know, it's installed in your user's shared folder, so you could look for that app in there too and remove it.
Just to be clear as well, it's document spelt with a K. So the only people that are going to install this are Germans and people who can't spell.
I think the article said and it was localized, so
Really?
it may adjust that depending upon your local environment.
So yeah, that's why I was going to ask. Like, I still agree with what Ewan said. Like, you got to be kind of sort of dim to fall for this at this point.
Oh no! I will defend that, because my mum would click this.
Mums are for this.
You know what I mean?
See, this is going to be what I was going to say. Was about to be sexist, so I won't say that.
It passes the mom test, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think my mom would fall for that.
And
She won't install anything without, you know what I mean, without asking me first.
But who's trained her, Doc? You've trained her, right?
Yeah, so
I mean, we do that.
But even, so I'm going to say this. If you're a tech guy and someone in your family falls for this, I'm starting to blame you, because you're supposed to stop that.
I know a couple of people who are tech guys who know better and still fell for some scam, because in this situation, it was perfectly targeted, and they didn't realize until it was too late. I mean, early morning or late at night. Something can happen. I mean, it can happen to anybody at this point. If it's well done, I mean, this isn't. So I think in this case, you should know better. But there are other scams out there.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
Can anybody remember one that was ever well done? Because we still haven't. I don't think we've had one well done that I can recall.
Yeah, no, hang on. The one thing I will say is that the problem started when people who didn't send you emails started sending you emails. Barclays have never sent me an email, and then they start sending me emails. So now I look at every Barclays email and go, bullshit.
Yeah.
And the Inland Revenue, every month they send me an email that says you've got to complete your VAT every quarter. You've got to finish your VAT return, and the email that comes through is to the letter. It looks exact, except it's got a zip file on the bottom. And if you hover over the email address, you can come up with something that's complete bollocks, and clearly isn't. But that's because I want to do it. If you're to the look of it, you wouldn't see a difference. The social engineering around this stuff is mind-blowingly good.
I've gotten a couple of PayPal and Apple emails, and I mean, at first they looked perfectly normal. And I thought, and I had to think about it a minute and say, okay, is that even possible what they are telling me here? And then I said, okay, it isn't. And then I checked the link that was in there, and of course it was a phishing scam. So
see,
I
the
think
Apple
we can fall for that.
To me, always have unnecessary spaces in it, dead giveaway, and then like Ewan said, I hover over every link before I click on it and read the URL.
Yeah.
But you're in the minority.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
sure,
like we know to look for this stuff. I mean, and
all it takes is one mistake.
And so, the thing I want to get back to is just the sophistication of this, both in terms of the social engineering and, the thing of it. And I mean, this is extending into all areas of our lives. I'll give you guys another example. Just yesterday, I'm sitting at Starbucks and I start getting messages from my credit card company. Hey, did you just try and, purchase dinner at a restaurant in Michigan? And it's like, no, okay, what the crud happened with my credit card? And it was my business credit card. So it got skimmed. And I am super careful about, that card and all my cards actually. And when I go to pay for gas, I'm always yanking on the reader. Or if I'm going to use an ATM, I'm looking around and I'm yanking on the reader thing. And all I could think of was yesterday I had to go downtown and I went to a parking lot and it had one of those automated, machines, and it had the kind of reader where it doesn't have a thing you can pull on. It is concave. And they have, skimmers now where they use a tool and they jam it way deep down inside the machine. And so my guess is it got skimmed there. Because I remember after I did it, the machine took a really long time to authorize. So I'm pretty sure it got skimmed in that machine, and I was just like paying for my parking, which I have to do because I got to meet somebody, right? So there's always that opportunity for these guys to take advantage. It's just, and so then I'm thinking like, God damn it, why didn't that thing take Apple Pay, right? Because that would have stopped the whole thing.
Smartest
Why
move.
didn't Patrice's country take Apple Pay?
Yes. Exactly.
Sorry.
Smartest move I ever made was setting up eBay and PayPal with two completely different email addresses because it sticks out like a sore thumb then.
I want to say one more thing about that thing because you Europeans will appreciate this. So my daughter goes, when I told my daughter the story, because she doesn't know, she's like, don't they need your PIN? I said, no, because the U.S. is freaking stupid and we did chips without pins. So, that would have probably fixed the whole situation.
You can still swipe and sign, can't you?
Well, yeah, but at those terminals, when they're skimming it, they don't even have to do that. They just need the data off the.
No, I know, but you can go to certain places and still swipe and sign with a counterfoil, and it's just like I can't even remember the last time I swiped and signed. It was probably in Target in America.
Yeah.
Right. Why we don't have pins at this point on our credit cards is stupid, or why we just don't all move to something like Apple Pay. I mean, there's so many better ways, and it's just the credit card companies.
Totally.
Because they're just worried people are going to be too inconvenienced and they're not going to use their cards, which is BS.
Jesus Christ. No, it's not going to happen. Early iPhone 8. There's a schematics popped up that shows vertical cameras instead of horizontal ones just to piss everyone off who bought a certain type of case, because I can't see another reason for doing it.
No, they're for doing vertical cameras?
Yeah.
No, there's a very good reason for doing vertical cameras.
It's just to piss people off who bought a horizontal one last time that they made.
3D, it's the 3D sensing system and the future stuff they want to do with augmented reality and virtual reality applications.
So you can do 3D sensing with horizontal.
But not with vertical?
No,
the reason it's vertical is when you turn it in the orientation where you would do VR and augmented reality, you now have a better stereoscopic separation and you're going to be able to do things better and more easily because it's going to work more like a set of eyes.
Because it's going to be horizontal.
Vision.
Yes. Okay, I'll buy a bit of that.
And that's why you notice the flashes in the middle too, which separates the lenses even a little bit further.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's not a lot more, but it's gonna make a slight difference. There's a slight advantage there.
And wireless charging, no.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it being an option.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm right. Is it definitely coming? Because the thing is, we've had that. There's also this mock-up, which I've got to say that looks a bit retro for me.
I think that's what they're going for, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the silver separation retro look.
Well, and that leaker said that's before they applied. Supposedly they're going to apply the black, so it's more like the space black or jet black Apple Watch. So he has another image where the black is applied to that stainless steel or whatever it is. I think it's stainless steel.
And then the last one is a third-party case thing, which I don't believe third-party case rooms in the slightest. So, because they can prototype those 10 a penny. So
the thing they're trying to say there is, and actually in all of these is that they're not going to have the stupid fingerprint sensor on the back, which is good.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's going to be embedded in the front somewhere on the screen.
Which means we all won't be able to get phones until 2018.
Well, they're also saying, because that's the thing is they reckon that they're going to press ahead with a September launch, but there won't be any.
Right.
So it'll just
And they'll be super limited availability in October, November, because that sensor is giving them all kinds of pain.
So what's happened
integrating
is since the watch, they've been warming us up to shit delivery of the iPhone 8. It's all it's been. It's just like, if we deliver everything badly, then when we get to iPhone 8, no one will notice. Ta-da!
I don't know about that.
I'm only laughing because it's true.
It's true. It probably is true. There's been a master plan. It's the only roadmap that Apple have got is to slowly piss us off rather than piss us off all of us all at once. No.
Yeah, I'm just not looking forward to the order day when they sell out in 0.2 seconds.
Oh mate, that's gonna be horrific. We need to do a live show when that goes live. We need to. It's going to be midnight on the West Coast and 8 a.m. here, and we've got to get everyone in the office and we've got to get it all set up, and everyone's got to log on and try and buy a phone, and then we've got to go ballistic for the next 2 hours about how shit Apple are. Waters.
But at the end of the day, right, we all know that it's really good for Apple because they're going to have the hottest thing on the planet that no one can get, and it's only going to make people want it more.
Okay, like the hottest thing on the planet that no one can get is because you've sold all of them, not because you didn't make any of them, Adam.
Doesn't matter.
I've got about as much chance as getting an iPhone 8.
What Apple has learned is it doesn't matter because people will just wait or they'll buy them at a premium. You know, it's like it all ends up being positive for Apple. You know, they'll get a little negative press, but I mean, in the end, for their bottom line and everything else, it's all plus.
I've got as much chance of getting an iPhone 8 on day one as I have of getting one out of a party cracker at Christmas Day.
I'm telling you, most people are going to be getting them in 2018.
Yeah. So 2 seconds into to midnight on the West Coast, then you're going to be your delivery's out to 26 weeks.
Yeah, whatever it might be.
It's the only product you'll get after your AirPods.
Which those are still on a 6-week delivery time, right?
I can't get over that. I just find that horrific.
The only product you will get after the next one was released.
No, I bought some for the wife and for Mother's Day, and she went running in them the other day, and she's been going on because she's got a small penis. We've talked about the small ear, but actually they stay in, and she's well happy with them. She said they were good, but she said everything pisses me off when I'm knackered. I'm like, what do you mean? She said I get to a certain point in the run, and the music pisses me off, the earphones piss me off, the fact I've got my iPhone stuck to my arm on that quad lock pisses me off, my feet hurt, and that pisses me off, and I just like, thank God I'm not there.
Yeah.
When she comes home, she's got the endorphins and everything's good. I'm just, do you want to come cycle with me while I do my run? No. Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
Not a good idea.
So do we believe those rumours? Are we looking at there?
I think it's getting locked in.
Never.
Pretty much. I mean, it's going to look something.
No.
I do. It's going to look something very close to
close.
that. I don't know if it's going to be exactly that, but I mean, I think we're getting pretty close to seeing final designs.
The only thing that's different is I saw one that picture there shows a rounded corner like we currently have, and there was another one that said it was iPhone 5 like and edge to edge. There wasn't a curvature to the edge. It was squared off edge.
Like squared with the chamfered edge and the metal.
Yeah. And I got to say, I there's a bit of me would like that because I liked it when it was brushed aluminium, but.
Well, and what's weird is what happened to the glass thing, because I've still seen some of those out there too, where it's the glass front, glass back, and the band. So it's hard to say at this point. I don't think the materials are finalized. I think what we're seeing that probably is finalized is things like the horizontal or the vertical camera orientation, the no touch ID, the edge to edge screen, the bezel-less. The final actual like form factor of the casing and the materials, I think, may still be up in the air a little bit.
Doc, go on.
No, I'm just like the whole thing. Like I just ignore it so much that it just
me too.
He doesn't like speculating.
No, I hate it. It's just such a waste of time. It's a waste of clicking. There's nothing you could do about what they're going to do and not going to do until they actually do it. So it kind of sort of serves zero purpose at all. Like, it doesn't do anything for anyone except generate clicks for the people who create the fake links or the people that get the good links. Because, like, if I was going to be a fake leaker right now, I know for a fact that there's a bunch of people that still love the chamfered edges, that loves the style of the original 1, 2, and 3. So what I would do is I would just generate links that talk about stuff that says the iPhone is going back to the way it used to be, so to speak, but with, you know, the modern tech in it. And you got a whole camp of people that are going to read that. Then I got the other people that says, I'm going to create leaks that say Apple is going to copy the hell out of Samsung. Finally, they're going to move this to the back and move that to the back and make it 100% waterproof and blah, blah, blah. Of course, I understand it is now, but this is how the leaks have gone. And then there's another cap that's way out there, and I was going to invent all the stuff you wish the iPhone had that it doesn't have. And between all of that, you could generate so much money lying that I think it's super irritating to overall journalism. I just can't stand it. Like, I hate it with an absolute passion.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, every time people ask me, friends of mine, when they ask me, what do you think about this rumor and that rumor and whatever, I always say, I can't even tell you anything about it because I seem to have blocked out all rumors out of my brain. I mean, we talk about them here in the show every now and then, and I see the news, but I simply block them out because I don't care.
Your party invites are stopped?
No, you know, if you ask me what I think is coming in a new phone, I tell them either wait till this September, and if they press on, like, no, but you're a tech guy and you kind of know, I literally tell them to F off.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so over it.
In which case, then, we'll be back again next week at the same time. We'll see you on Friday. Hope you have a good evening. Because there is
guys, that has been my position since you've known me. Like, and leaks weren't even that bad back then. They're irritating as hell now because
and now you're Amish. It's even worse.
Huh?
Now you're Amish. It's even worse.
So we
could talk about other things.
Here's something we can talk about that's legitimate.
He's gone back to Trap and Pony version 1.
Where are the Apple products for this year?
Where are they?
What has Apple done this year so far, product wise?
Nothing.
The Clips app.
Carpool karaoke.
No, it's not even out yet.
It's not out yet. The shit app show.
Weren't we supposed to have some iPads by now or something like that?
Dragon's
app.
We got an iPad.
Who said we were supposed to have iPads right now? This is exactly my point. No one ever said we're supposed to. You guys said it. Guys, I don't mean Adam and you and then Patrice. I mean all of the freaking Sonny Dixon.
Whoa. Right. Apple announced iPads the other week. We had a show. I was there. I remember.
Okay, so if they announced it, then they will get here when they said they were coming. But prior to that, people were all going, we were supposed to get them in January. No, we're supposed to get them in February. Everybody, every other week, has been saying we've been getting new iPads.
Right, hang on. What have we got from Apple this year, I think was the question, Doc.
Yeah, so I'm saying, but it's not their fault that there's nothing. Because they never anything.
So the follow-up to that question is, does Apple need to be shipping products? Or can they kind of float along like this? And it sounds like you, Doc, think that they don't need to ship stuff.
I think that they need to ship stuff when it's ready, when we don't have to go through what we went through with headphones. Not headphones. What are these white things in my pocket? AirPods. See, this is the part that irritates me, right?
So hang on. Tim's going to stop mining by just stopping shipping products. That's frigging genius.
It's not what the
We're not doing raw materials mining anymore. We're not going to make products. I'm going to go and live on a floating cloud. Angela's going to go and live on the space station.
When they're ready. I think that they get enough crap when it's not ready, and then they get enough. You're supposed to do X, so they should just follow what they used to do. When they're ready, they ship it. They get it where everyone can get it, or at least 30-40% of the population can get it at a time, and then it slowly keeps coming after that. I think if they go back to doing what they used to do, in a sense, it's better.
We've had a chat room blitz slap.
I don't care.
We got a chat room bitch slap. Red iPhone, says Paul Dixon, and he's dead right. We're taking the piss. They have delivered the red iPhone. I know it's only a spray job, but steady on. But yes, they have done that. Yes, that is there.
My dad bought one and made me jealous.
Here's the thing. I think, Doc, I think you're right. I think Apple is smarter if they're shipping products when they're ready. I think there has been this artificial. There's been an artificial. We lost Patrice. There's been artificial like pressure on every tech company, not just Apple, to like just ship a bunch of junk just to ship a bunch of junk. And the community, in a lot of ways, the tech community sort of drives that, but also Wall Street drives that a little bit. And what's interesting to me this year is that Apple is trying to change the game, and I don't know if it's good or not, because what we're getting now from Apple is this weird thing where they're starting to like have to pre-announce products because people are expecting them to ship something, but they're not ready to ship. But if they don't pre-announce and say something about it, then everybody's going to freak out and the stock price is going to drop and they're going to get a bunch of bad press. So it's like, I don't know, if one's better than the other. It's just interesting to me what's sort of happening.
Because it's a problem that is generated by the tech press, not out of their own interests. They're doing it out of greed to some extent. And the reason why I say that, because there's plenty of tech press people that don't do it. Ewan is a prime example. He don't do it. We'll bring it up if Mac Rumors puts it out, because now once it's on Mac Rumors, it's out, right? But for the most part, he ignores it. But then look at someone like Renee. Well, I kind of like, that's all they do. Like 50% of the crap on iMore is pure speculation. And that generates a lot of revenue for them. So they created a problem, and now they're mad that Apple doesn't want to like scratch an itch. You ran through the poison oak, and now you want me to scratch you? Like, I disagree with it.
I don't think iMore drops leaks. I think they report on them like a lot of us do once they're out there. But I would the three top sources I'm seeing are and actually it's now changed because it was Mark Gurman when he was at 9 to 5, and now it's Bloomberg. 9 to 5 still reports on it, but a lot of it's coming out of Bloomberg. 9 to 5, Mac Rumors, and Apple Insider, I think, are kind of the three spots.
Yeah, but iMore is repeating it.
Which is what you said. So
you're guilty if you repeat it?
No. Wow. You're kind of, well, yes and no. It depends on your position. I would say so. If you repeat it from a high standpoint, sure, like you have a lot of viewers, then you're adding to the problem, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you're just as guilty.
I'm going to fill an hour every week.
What? No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just taking it out. I'm going to take it out. You're guilty if you repeat it. Honestly, I swear to you, I love you. Don't take this the wrong way. When I'm listening to Mattcast and Adam starts talking about it, I fast forward that part.
Oh. You're welcome for the chapters, by the way.
Oh, exactly. I'm saying there's nothing against Adam. He has his listeners ask for it, so he's giving them what they asked for. But I think we should have stopped it in the bud a long time ago, so they wouldn't ask for it.
I mean, iMore put up a page for the iPhone 8. At least, I think, a couple of weeks before the 7 was even announced, because we were searching for it in one of my other podcasts, and we found it. So it is already out there. So I think they are definitely adding to the whole thing, and they are not innocent in that case.
Here's the thing, companies who publish this stuff are very smart about what people are looking for, and they pay very much attention to what's happening on Google and all of these things. And you have to, when you're in a business of creating entertainment, which that is, it's not just news, it's also partially entertainment. You have to cater to what people want to hear and read. And a lot of it, there's a balancing act, right? You've got to be able to pay your bills and survive. And to do that, especially on the web, you need clicks.
Bullshit.
And, what?
Bullshit.
You need bullshit.
Oh, that's wrong.
What?
It's just dead wrong.
No, you do need bullshit.
I thought you were calling bullshit on my...
No, you do need bullshit.
Yeah.
You can't survive without bullshit.
At least with tech news, this is what people want. I mean, you have to deliver your audience what they want, and there's different kinds of shows, right? So you can choose. And I'm happy that Doc, that you skip through the stuff that you don't want to listen to. That's perfectly fine, and I'm okay with that. That's why I do chapters in my show, and I get a lot of that from a lot of people. Like, I like this part of the show, and I don't like that part of the show, and that helps me, maintain audience and maintain my numbers, and that helps my bottom line too. So a lot of that stuff I do because I would want that kind of thing, but I also do it because I know that it helps me keep things going and be able to do what I need to do. So I don't know that I begrudge a tech blog or a website for catering to the needs and the wants of their audience, because I think that's what you should be doing.
But it always supposed to group your audience.
When I get the emails that say I didn't like this bit, I didn't like that part, I do like this bit, but I don't like that part, I always say, well, go listen to Greenie, because none of it's real.
It also sometimes depends on how you report it. Do you report it as this is fact and this is happening?
No.
Or do you report it as, okay, this is something someone else reported, take it with a big grain of salt, and here are the details on it. I think there's a difference how you approach that topic as well.
Sure.
Still, I maintain my position. I think what iMore is doing is definitely...
all the email for it. But I still ask the question, are you supposed to groom your readers to a certain extent? And like hold your... So for instance, if I was in a position and say I was still at AOL and they insisted that I write this mess, what I would do at the end of every article, maybe even at the beginning of every article, hey, here's some iPhone rumors. Please take this with a grain of salt, but here's what's out there. And I don't really see that too often. I'm sure somebody does it. I'm absolutely positive somebody does it, but I don't think enough people do it because I don't know why.
Some people do it. They basically put that sentence in at the beginning, and then they go ahead and really write horrible content. And I think that's also not the solution. I mean, they basically, ass is covered. We've said it's a rumor, but then we take it as fact in the rest of the article.
That's what Fox News does.
Can I just suggest that you're winding yourselves up beyond belief for nothing that really matters? Because surely if you just look at a page and you go, okay, it's a bit of chip paper journalism, I'll take it, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, right.
It's
like you guys said about the virus thing or the malware thing. There's a lot of people that don't know how to filter that stuff.
That's natural selection, mate. I'm sorry, but if you can't look at a piece of rumor mongering and go, well, it's rumor mongering, but you know it's a fluffer and that's nothing else to it, then you deserve everything you get. Bend over, here it comes.
Let me say one last thing, just for our audience, and they all know this already, so maybe it's not even worth saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you're a follower of Apple in any capacity and you don't know by this point that nothing is set in stone until they get up on stage at that keynote and say it, then you're just being naive.
Yep. Yes. That is an easy out, but it is a very true easy out.
Brett Terpstra has taken the end off his finger. Poor lad.
He copied me. Because I was on his podcast, so he decided to copy me.
Yeah, he's taken the end off his finger, and he said, with the better touch gestures I depend on, this is a serious impediment now. Poor bloke. Get well soon, Brett.
Oh, no, what happened?
He's taken the end off his finger. He doesn't say how. Right, save the best for last. Apple is releasing a home product to rival Home and Alexa. That is awesome.
Ewan's worst nightmare
allegedly.
Comes true.
Oh, son of Alexa, cancel. Jesus Christ. Right, okay, we're going to have to be careful to say just Jeff, hey Tim,
just Jeff,
and okay Sergey. Otherwise, it's going to piss everyone off.
You can't say okay Sergey in our country. The NSA, the FBI, and CNN will all be at your door in minutes.
CNN?
Apple is releasing an Echo rivaling product, in inverted commas.
Doc, it's rumor mongering.
I ain't saying jack.
It is.
Because it is right until Tim says, hey, guess what? Here comes our new thing. Siri XL. I don't care.
Stop. We're not debating whether they will or they won't. What we're talking about is how they implement it. That's the discussion. Because I think there's some serious issues with implementation. Because if they do a Hey Tim interface, that means every frigging product that you've got from Apple is going to go shabing and start off. If they do a push the button to talk through an Apple TV, it's bollocks UI. It ain't going to work. It's shit. If they do anything, they've got to do it with an Apple TV for a start. They can't do it in any other product because it doesn't make any sense, which means it's vastly overpriced. And secondly, or thirdly, fourthly, I can't remember, I think they've got to do a Hey Jarvis type thing or something like that. There's got to be a new There's got to be a new home automation system which has its own name and its own interface, and that your iPad and iPhone don't link with through voice. Because I think they've got really problems with the fact that Siri is impregnated in throughout your whole life if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm. I want it to be, hey, Steve, and I want it to be a really good, like, not Fassbender, but a really good, like, Steve's voice back. And I want him to be mad sometimes and do what Steve would do.
Well, you say,
will tell you,
hey, Steve, turn on the light, and he goes, no.
That's fucking stupid.
No, you don't want the light on. No,
you.
you don't want the light on. You want the heating on. I'm telling you want the heating on, man.
And I want him to tell you that this light...
Put that remote down. You're holding it wrong.
Do it again.
That would be hella funny. I would buy that.
It would be great. I would buy that too. Like I want Steve to be like, Doc, put the burger down. Put the whiskey down. Now go have some gluten-free vegetables. Like, yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I would listen to Steve. That's why I did it before. Like it was my job to listen to Steve. So I'm already pre-trained. I'm already brainwashed. So yeah, it would be awesome. But what's funny about this whole conversation is when you look at the article on Mac Rumors, who's the tweet from? I'm going to just ask that question.
Right.
I'm not worried about that, guys. What I'm saying, I want to discuss, I want a proper discussion about the serious issues they've got with implementing something. If they are, I don't care whether they are or aren't doing this. What I'm saying is, if they're going to implement this, I think they've got some serious issues about how they integrate it into what they currently do.
They definitely
really?
You're right.
Here's
I don't see that.
And it probably doesn't matter, because my assumption would be that I don't know if you've used like your Siri on your Apple Watch or your iPhone or whatever. They've actually implemented something.
I've tried.
Well, okay. They've implemented something recently, because what I've noticed is all of the things will start to pick up for me, but whichever one sort of responded first now seems to get control. So what I've noticed is sometimes my Apple Watch will pick up when I'm issuing a command, and I'll see my phone start to grab it, but because the Apple Watch grabbed it first, the phone will suddenly cancel itself and the Apple Watch will just take over.
Yeah,
So
I think they implemented that in iOS 10.
Handled, and my assumption would be then for the voice response part, they could use low energy Bluetooth and proximity and stuff like that to say, hey, okay, they're near this new device which is sitting in the living room. I'm gonna, even though the Apple Watch took the command, I'm gonna hand it off to the the home system and let that reply and respond, because I happen to know this person's in the room with the speaker thing. And supposedly the speaker part is going to be technology implemented, through like the Beats stuff. So they may be an Apple TV adding a home speaker, or maybe a new product. Who knows?
I just think there's a lot of issues with interface. There's a lot of issues with setup. There's a lot of issues with application, how it starts. It doesn't make any sense that it doesn't work with that. It's got to work with HomeKit, and your phone doesn't voice integrate in the same way. So
it doesn't voice integrate?
Well, so at the moment, Siri doesn't exist effectively on Apple TV, I don't think. And you're going to say, "Oh, yes, it does. It's called Siri," but it really isn't.
Not HomeKit integration on Apple TV currently, and it would be stupid, just like you said earlier, because you have to push the stupid button.
Exactly. Yeah. So if they're going to do a device, it doesn't make any sense for it not to be linked to your TV and to be your Apple TV. If it's a if it's a new standalone device, I'm looking at that going, well, I don't want that, because that doesn't give me anything over and above what I've already got with Amazon. It doesn't give me anything over and above. Why is Apple going to pull me away from an existing successful product? It's not going to do it with a standalone box. It's going to do it if it integrates it into my current life with Apple. And in order to do that, it's got to do it through Apple TV. Otherwise, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. They won't sell it to me.
But that is coming from someone who has such a device. I don't have an Alexa.
I think a lot of people have got an Echo.
What if it's a Sonos like speaker system, or like a TV soundbar?
But But does that then replace the Apple TV, or is that an augmentation to the Apple TV?
Wasn't Beats working on something like this?
One or the other. Ideally, it would integrate, but I mean, if it was separate, it could still be marketed as a separate,
anyway, they're going to sell me an extra
home
product.
theater, system.
Yeah. Wasn't Beats working on a standalone speaker before they were acquired, or right before they were acquired?
Possibly, yeah.
I think I seem to remember that.
I mean, they have the little Bluetooth type speakers too, and I would imagine could be a whole range of products as well. I mean, we're only hearing about the one little thing, and I'm totally with you. I think ideally it would be a $99 little product that was integrated with Apple TV and had a little speaker, and that would be probably a home run, and they'd sell 1 million of them. So that's probably the smartest way to go. But I mean, if you're just speculating on what kinds of implementations they could do, I mean, there's a really broad range of possibilities.
Yeah, I think in my head, I'm always buying Apple stuff, and to a certain degree, I don't do it brilliantly, but I'm always sitting thinking, why am I buying this product? And nearly everything I've got from Apple, I can justify in my own mind why I'm buying that product, but I can't at this moment in time, having heard this rumor, and it is a rumor, I totally get that, Doc. I can't reconcile in my mind why I would buy another product that wouldn't be integrated into Apple TV. That's
right. Well, in the back of my mind, all I'm thinking with any other kind of implementation is Apple Hi-Fi.
GB Redneck in the chat room says, voice control of home automation is a flawed concept. The whole point of home automation is to remove interface and let the house do what you need it to when you want it to.
He's kind of right and he's kind of wrong. I mean, he's right. A lot of things can be automated, but every now and then, I mean, even you don't know what you're going to do the next second. So how should the house know?
It's a bit Skynet, isn't it, as well?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I was going to agree with say the same thing Patrice said, but with a sort of a different comment. I definitely agree that that's half right, because of all the things I have in my home automation, the thing that I am the most in love with, and this is going to sound absolutely mental, but for my Hue lights, I bought the motion sensor, and I set the motion sensor up in the kitchen, because in the kitchen is the one time first you need to know, in my house, the door to the entryway basically takes you through the kitchen to the rest of the home. So there's the first one. When you walk in the house, automatically a light comes on, and you don't have to walk into a dark environment. The other thing is, when you're going in and out of the kitchen, 9 times out of 10, you have something in your hands or you're taking something out of your hands. And the thing that causes the most drops is I'm taking something in, I got all this stuff in my hand, I flick the switch, you drop something, or you try to leave and whack it with the elbow, you drop something. So I really love walking in the kitchen, light come on, and then leave, and then 3 minutes later it cuts off. And of all the cool stuff I have in my house, the dumbest one is my favorite one, because
basically
it's like the house knows what I want. Huh?
The technology you could have had in 1970 and you don't even need internet for.
True that. Exactly true that. But I don't know why that one it's not that it impresses me.
It totally makes sense. I get it, but it's kind of hilarious that you don't need it. You could have probably implemented it for, like a
long time ago.
$5 motion sensor
have been out
wall
forever.
switch.
Rob's retorted with, the house should know what you want. And I've just got this, I can't let you do that, Dave. Going through my head. It's that I want the temperature up. No, you don't, Dave.
Back to the Steve interface.
I mean,
we were just talking about.
As I said, he's right. The house should know as much as you want as is possible. But every now and then, as I said, I don't even know sometimes what I want.
There's a lot of complex algorithms into what decision I want from my house as to whether I want a light on or off. And at the moment, I've got Wemo devices set up, and they come on in the mornings so that if I know I've come down out of bed early, there's going to be a light on waiting for me, and they come on at night so that and they're set to sunset an hour before, so half an hour before sunset, and then they come on, and then they go off at 11:30 regardless. So it's that the greatest security feature of your house is the lights going on and off at random. And here at the office, I've got lights that go on and off if there's no light on them at random. So at 2:00 in the morning, and it's worked with Jack. So Jack knows whether I'm here or not, and he's walked past with his mates and gone, "Oh bloody hell, Ewan's working late."
And which family member gets to influence the AI patterns in which way and to what degree?
I've got to
get
go
into
back.
that conversation, right?
I'm gonna make an example of something I would love if it was automated.
Said the single bloke. Go on, then, mate.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
temperature, women, men. Don't even start down that path. But go on.
I mean, every night when I go to bed, I tell Siri good night, and she shuts off my TV lights and all of that. That could be fully automated. If the whatever system sees I'm going to bed, it should simply do it. I think that is a good example, and that would work for you as well, Ian. I mean, it would simply see, okay, your kids are in bed, you're heading to bed. Okay, I can shut off the lights downstairs.
But the thing is, you've got to remember that I want the house to carry on functioning like I'm at home, even when I'm not at home.
No, he's talking
but that's a different scenario.
No, it's exactly what I'm talking about. Because it's all very well saying I want the algorithm to do the things that I do and follow what I do when I'm in the house, but I want it to follow similar algorithms when I'm not in the house, because it makes it look like I'm home. That's why everyone bought a freaking timer switch in the 70s.
Yep.
Yeah, and you should be able to do that.
Learn those patterns, and you can use motion sensors and all kinds of other things to determine if you're home or not.
See, that's the thing is Rob's talking about learning very complex things in that.
Right.
You know, about when I'm there and when I'm not there, and then the system's got to know that if I'm not there, it has to do these things. But then it has to do them in a randomity that makes it look like I am home, and that's actually quite a complicated process for someone to learn.
Sure.
From an AI perspective, that's actually simpler than some other things. Again, I think the more difficult thing is you've got 4 people living in a house, right? So how does it decide which is which? I mean, under Patrice's example, my wife goes to bed way earlier than I do, so is it going to be smart enough to know, okay, I'm only going to trigger on the last person that goes to bed, or, so like figuring those things out.
Yeah.
And then all the exceptions that happen from time to time, that's the stuff that it's going to really struggle with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're a long ways off from that. And so until then, the voice interface is going to be a voice interface, maybe enhanced or supplemented with some AI, but, we're a long ways from AI being totally able to take over.
Rob's suggesting that actually the proper full automated system would do a better job of making it look like I was home than I would. Last thing, then, apparently Apple are using Alexis for the automated software system, and there's proof that they're doing something with automation because someone's released a set of training notes that are allegedly Apple's.
Oh yeah, no, that's all legit. That's verified. That's news stuff because they filed an application with the state of California, and they had to be very specific about who their test drivers were, what the vehicles were specifically specified in the documents that they were using this certain model Lexus. In that photo you just showed, somebody just spotted those on the road, and that's the model that Apple was going to be using. So it's not. I don't know if it's definitive that that's Apple's vehicle, but I mean, all of the evidence is pretty.
Well, the software's a bit shit because the bloke's steering.
Well, that's the rules. You've got to have people in the vehicle now,
and the wheels on the wrong side of the car,
ready to take over.
Yeah, but I mean that means that we have at least confirmation, and that in this case it is confirmation that Apple is at least looking or working in this area. Well, whether they will ever do anything with it, we don't know.
Well, they're spending too much money probably to not do something with it, but I don't believe that they're going to produce a car.
No.
That's still my belief.
We'll see. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, what would the I mean, I think Adam, you talked about that on the latest MacCast, right?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I mean, never say never. I think it's obvious at this point what they're developing is some sort of systems, because the other thing from this photo, they had some experts analyze it, and all of the outbound gear that's on there is all just off the shelf stuff. Like nothing on there they could find looked like it was custom, which would mean anything custom is probably related to the software and any hardware that might be inside the vehicle.
But for automated driving, the software is at this point the hardest part. I mean, the hardware you can buy off the shelf, more or less. The software is the hardest part because that's where the intelligence goes into.
Right.
And that's what Apple has to develop. And I think that's why it makes sense that they are focusing on this, the way they seem to be doing it. Taking off-the-shelf hardware, taking a car that you can simply buy, and then focusing on the software. It doesn't mean that later on they can create their own hardware once the software is ready, and then create their own car once everything is ready. Doesn't mean it. Simply, we don't know.
The application filing also had to very, very specifically lay out what kinds of testing they were going to be doing. So they're doing everything, I think, up to including high-speed testing at up to like 65 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. So tight U-turns, sudden steering input, sudden braking, lane changes up to 65 miles an hour. Those sorts of things are the kinds of things that they're testing. And they're using NASA scientists and engineers to actually do a lot of the testing.
Yeah. That was interesting.
People they hired away from NASA.
Mm. That's really interesting what they are doing. I mean, it has been rumored again, but now we have at least confirmation for that part.
It's like the TV. I just don't see where it fits in what Apple do. That's my thought process. It's
yeah.
Well,
I think I have to agree.
A lot of this stuff is all about. I mean, they're having a look. What kinds of things are they going to need to be doing 5 years, 10 years from now? So, like, even if this stuff isn't immediately obvious, we know that augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D systems, artificial intelligence, all of this stuff is going to be part of any future product that Apple needs to develop. And this is one area of immediate application where maybe a product comes out of it. So I think in a lot of cases, it's not just Apple knowing, okay, this is the product we're going to build. It's here's a product we could possibly build. Let's explore this in a really deep and meaningful way and see if it takes us somewhere. See if it takes us to a product.
Yeah. Rob's trying to convince me to go to some Indonesian site where there's apparently loads of stuff about home automation, but there's fudge all there. I don't get what's going on. I'm missing something obvious, maybe. I don't know.
Have to install the zip file first.
Oh, right, got you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day before Apple released the iPod, people would have said, this is nothing Apple. That's core to Apple's business and what they should be doing. And nowadays, even the iPhone to a certain degree wasn't. It was kind of obvious in hindsight, but it was definitely out of the way. So you never know. Until you have seen the product, you never know what it's actually good for and how it fits into the business.
Rob's trying to tell me that I need a full demo of it all. I'm like, I go to the page, there's sod all there, and you're going to let it run my home? I don't think so. I'm not doing that, Dave. Rob, click the frigging link. There's nothing there. Wish I hadn't started now. This podcast and all the others is brought to you by UK2 and The Big Show at the moment. Anything you want for the web, they're the people to go to. They've looked after us for a very long time. So please show your support for UK2 by keeping us on the air and making sure they pick up all the bandwidth charges and all that kind of stuff for us going forward, because we'd be lost without them. We couldn't do the show and we couldn't do all the stuff on the network that we currently do without their support. We do need your support, and so do they. So please buy all your web stuff from them. Domains, VPN, co-location services, anything you want for the web. Get it through UK2. There's links on BritishTechNetwork.com/sponsors and offer codes as well. You can save yourself a fortune. In a couple of weeks, we're going to have Hoya here in the studio with us, and they are going to be talking us through Uniku. I went and had a play at the NEC with it. It is stunning. It is unbelievable. It measures your face, absolutely, and then it sticks the frames exactly where they need to be and builds the frames around them. And then they are uniquely made. They are custom made for your face. The glasses are totally yours. And if you take the glasses off and look on the inside, they've got your initials stamped on the inside to just show that they are totally yours. No one else's. I should be going to get mine done soon, properly, and get them delivered. But there's me with a beard. Back when I had a beard. Oh God. No, I'm just a shaven fat man. Clean shaven fat man.
You look younger.
Yeah, thanks, pal. Sharon Page used to say that, didn't she? Right, time for the cool thing. Starts off, Doc.
Are we going to just skip over the iTunes affiliate thing? That's cool if we are, but I just wanted to know.
The who?
iTunes affiliate is getting kind of like cut in half.
Oh,
That was real
time
Apple.
Oh, the revenue from
we'll do it
iTunes
next week.
affiliate.
All right, anyway. So, my link for you today is typ.io as type.io or type.io. I don't care how you want to pronounce it. It's something that everybody needs to take a look at. As a person with, let me just call it moderately okay design skills, I give myself like a B minus. I go absolutely insane when I see people post these things or send me, MailChimp or whatever type of stuff where the fonts just don't go together or they don't match. And I recently had someone bring me a thing where they wanted me to take over, like doing a label for them. And the person that created the label for them were doing stuff like typesetting in Photoshop and using drop saddles from CS1. It was just like disgusting. So anyway, what Type.io will do is it will help you do what those of us that design know how to do, is put fonts together. So like, say you decide, okay, I need to use Avenir Next for this particular thing that I'm going to create. And you say, well, I need a non-boldy, tall font to go with it. Like, what would look good with it? This is stuff that has been kind of vetted by a bunch of graphic people in the community. And similar to the photo show, there's contests about typesetting and whatever. But it gives you some great inspiration and great combinations of pairs of fonts that go well together, like Bebas and Post Grotesque. Like, those look awesome together and things like that. So just from seeing enough of the crazy stuff on the web with all of the really bad type choices, I'm going to give you a place to go kind of help yourself out.
Excellent, mate. Good one. Thank you. Like that. Adam, what have you got for us?
I'm going to do kind of a general pick, actually a pair of apps, and then this relates into something that's going on in the BTN Slack. So I am trying to get healthier. I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight and all that fun stuff like a lot of us are apt to do. So the first thing is, if you're trying to do that sort of thing and you haven't signed up or joined up with the health channel in the BTN Slack, do that. There's a bunch of us in there trying to kind of improve ourselves in that way. And then related to that, I'm the type of person who I'm motivated by sort of being abused into or shamed into losing weight and doing what I'm supposed to do. And I know that's not for everybody, but I'm a big fan of the Carrot apps on iOS. So Carrot Weather, I think I've picked in the past. They also have a pair of apps related to health and fitness. Carrot Fit, which lets you do your weight tracking. And they also have a little 7-minute, what they call the 7-minute in Hell workout app. And you can get that for Apple TV as well. So if you want to sit in front of your Apple TV, and they have a bunch of nerdy related exercises and stuff that you can do, like I can't remember some of the names, but like, there's like Mordor squats or something like that. Who knows? Anyway, but Carrot will then send you a notification and tell you it's time to get on the scale and berate you and make sure that you're doing your weigh-ins and stuff like that. And then Carrot Hunger is a calorie food tracker, and it has the scanner in there, and you can scan your labels or look up things that people have already entered, so you don't have to go figure out how many calories in this and how much fat, stuff like that. You can of course hand enter stuff, but they're just all a great set of apps that kind of go together, and they all fall under that cheeky, tongue-in-cheek kind of berate you humor that Carrot has. And so I love that. It makes it fun for me, and I'm more apt to use the apps when it's fun. And they've got a great design style too. So on a lot of levels, I'm a big fan of everything that Carrot is sort of doing, and it's sort of helping with that. So there you go.
Good man. Just avoid the sugars, pal.
Yeah.
Sugar kills. That's all.
Yep.
You drink soda, Ad?
Do I drink soda? No, not at all.
Me neither. That was the first one, though. Like, I was way bigger, but as soon as I quit soda, I automatically lost 40 without doing anything.
No, my downfall is carbs in the form of the nectar of the gods that is beer.
Yeah, no, alcohol. It's not carbs. It's alcohol. It's sugar. It's sugar. Just kill sugar, mate. That's all you got to do.
I've cut out.
Then you're going to kill yourself.
Beer almost completely for now. I'm hoping when I get to my goal weight, I get to come back to it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I find funny, and then this is not to go too far off on the context, but one thing that's really hilarious in our country, and I guess I'm assuming UK is similar. In the US, then whenever someone talking about losing weight, especially I guess here in Hawaii, because we have a heavy Asian influence, everyone automatically goes to carbs, and all of my friends all of a sudden stop eating rice. And I go, folks, I've lived in Japan, China, and Korea, where almost everybody is skinny. The fat people just means that they're rich because they can't walk as far. Like, there's some 3 very walking countries. So most of the larger people in those countries are just really rich. That's all there is to it. But I'm like, how does an entire population eat freaking about a pound of rice a day and they're all skinny? It's not just the rice, bro. It's the rice just sitting down.
Yep. Well, last thing to mention, I forgot to mention about the carrot things too, is they all integrate with HealthKit really, really well. So when you're putting your data in there, it's all going into your HealthKit database. So you're kind of tracking all of that stuff. And especially if you're doing the food thing, it's going to break that down into the sugars and the fats and the carbs. So you can like figure out how much of each sort of thing you're eating and then adjust accordingly. So.
There's a cartoon that I saw when I was 20 years of age, and it's 2 old boys sat in a wingback chair with a big grandfather clock in the background, obviously at their private club or nursing home, and sitting there. And the first 4 frames of the cartoon strip are just the tick-tock of the clock and them sat there doing absolutely nothing, these crumbled old faces, not even speaking to each other. And the 5th frame is one of the guys looking at the other bloke going, "See, Carruthers, if we hadn't have given up alcohol, women, fun, we wouldn't have lived this long."
Yep.
I may not live till I'm 80, but fuck me, I had a good ride.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, for me, it's not ultimately cutting that stuff out. It's getting back to a point where I can go back to enjoying those things in a better, kind of more responsible way.
Good man.
Right.
The Clement Freud was another one. He said, "A life without cheese is no life at all."
Yep, I would agree with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the man who lives in the country of pig and potato, Patrice, what's your thing?
No, I'm not going to pick potatoes. My pick today is an app called Indigo Studio. It's probably more for the designers/developers out there, so more for professionals. If you want to create really fast prototypes of ideas you have, I mean, down to even runnable HTML click dummies, then this app might be for you. I was looking for something because I needed something to convey an idea I had really quick. And usually I would go to Photoshop or InDesign, but that was too detailed for me. I just wanted to have something quick and easy and just get the message across. So this is really cool. You can create iOS apps, websites, whatever with that. It's really easy. You don't need any... I would even say you don't need any development experience, technical experience, anything like that. I think, I mean, if I gave this to Adam, definitely, to you, and definitely also to Doc, because you have design skills, that would be totally fine. But I could give it to my mom, and she would probably be able to somehow create I don't know what she would create, but I don't know, a recipe app maybe. With that. So it's really cool. The base level is free. There's a free app, and then I think it's $25 a month if you want to go really professional. But if you look at what you get for the professional tool, you don't need that. Most people really don't need that. It's more collaboration and exporting to PDF and storing it on their cloud servers and stuff like that. So if you just need something simple, then Indigo Studio is really good. And our company is also using it. So that's where I got the idea from.
Excellent, mate. Okay. It seems quite specific, as you say.
It's very specific, yes.
Excellent. I like that. Good pick. Now then, do you remember a pick that I got for you a few weeks ago called Sequence? Did time lapse.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall that?
I remember it.
Right. I'm not gonna recommend it as such because I've already done that. But what I'm going to do is reference a conversation that I had with Ian Lewis in the Slack room yesterday. We were talking about batch processing raw images, and I did say, "What's the point?" Because if you're going to batch process raw images, you might as well shot in JPEG because there's just no point unless you're controlling absolutely the light. Then everything changes. So don't worry about it. And he said, "Well, okay, but I do batch process." Images that I've shot for time lapse because there's more consistency there. Okay, I'm not going to kick you out of Slack for that one because it does make an awful lot of sense. And then I thought to myself, well, the best thing to use for making time lapse is sequence. It's 20 quid. It's a lot of money, but it's actually really, really good. And then I said to him, but I don't know if it processes raw because it does white balance changes and it does flicker reduction. And I've always used it from JPEG images because that's what the GoPro shoots. So I wonder if it does it with RAW. And I had a quick test this morning. It processes RAW.
So this is a post processor. So you take a bunch of you take a time lapse, say with your GoPro, and then you run these through that.
Yeah. So sequence.
You run those through this.
Sequence is about 20. It's £33.99 now. It was 20 quid when I bought it, but Sequence is it's a great piece of software. It only does 2,000 images at a time, and then you've got to quit it and restart it, which is just a glitch that they won't get rid of for some reason. But the thing that's really good about it is it deflickers, because one of the problems that you've got with all time lapses is that you get flickering. Even whether it's outdoor or indoor, it doesn't make any difference. And it completely deflickers it. And it does a really good job at deflickering it, which is why it's worth me using it for professional purposes. And I would buy it at 33 quid quite happily if I hadn't already bought it.
Right.
But it does white balance changes as well as. Now, the problem with white balance changes in JPEGs is it's kind of... okay, I get there's a little bit of a change there, but actually it's not a true white balance change. It's really just more of a hue change, and you run the risk of corrupting other colours. What would be really cool is if you did a proper white balance change and it didn't corrupt the other colours. After the conversation with Ian, I just thought, it just struck me, I've never tried to use it with raw images. And I've tried it this morning with raw images. It works fine. It works absolutely fine. So... it's buy it because it's friggin' awesome.
Have you tried using it with more than 2,000 raw images?
No, I did it with 10 this morning just to see if it did it.
Test.
But it processed them. So,
sorry, the question I have is: so when you're using RAW, then it actually is doing a proper white balance able to do a proper white balance.
It's a correct white balance adjustment. Yeah.
Nice.
But I totally get what Patrice is saying there. If you shove 2,000 CR2 images in or NEF images in, then it may take a while.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to try this out because, we shoot time lapses with the Red, and not a lot of stuff will do the 4K part of it. And it says that it does the 4K part of it.
Oh, this thing will output to 4K, yeah. And it's proper 4K.
No,
it's 3.8.
I'm saying because it does full RAW and 4K. The weird thing about Red is their RAW is some special, weird thing. So you have to run it through, DaVinci Resolve or something in order to get it to mellow out. But this might work.
So just as a caveat before I start getting emails, I've only pushed Canon RAW through it. I haven't pushed any other type of RAW through it. So I don't know where it's getting its RAW file understanding from, but it certainly does Canon, which means it probably does Nikon. Whether it does Red or not, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
it might simply be using the Mac OS's RAW capabilities.
No,
the Red kind of does its own deflickering, but it all's still there. Even with the best cameras, you cannot avoid it. So this would be kind of cool. I'm gonna send this to my pops and be like, "Dad, Ewan just cost you $34.99."
It's a great
money
piece of
well
software.
spent.
No, I got to say, I've invented a new camera system with Anders, and we've been using it. And I used it commercially for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and we had a slight problem with we shoot two types of images. So we'll shoot a 4K image and we'll shoot the 1080p image. 1080p images goes up to the cloud, and it just makes a basic time lapse every hour. and we were getting a lot of flickering on that. So I said, I need the original 4K images down. So I took the 4K images down and ran them through Sequence, and it didn't get rid of everything, but it certainly made a huge difference in terms of deflickering. And the reason I bought it is because deflickering in time-lapse is the bane of time-lapse. So there you go. It's well worth it. If you've got a cloudy sky and you're shooting time-lapse of like a bay or something like that, it's horrific for flickering. And Sequence will get rid of most of it. It won't get rid of all. Nothing will get rid of all. If you get massive changes in light from one image to the next, then you're going to struggle regardless of what piece of software you use. But Sequence does a good job. Very good job. There you go. Where can we get a hold of you, chaps? Start us off, Doc.
You can find me all over the interwebs at DOCROCK and on this beautiful network a couple times a week.
What the hell's that?
What just happened?
I don't know. I was clicking something. I know what I did. Anyway, I was trying to find you. I was trying to send you a link, Ewan, of my dad's time lapse on his stock footage thing, but I found it, and I didn't know he had put sound on it. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, mate. Thank you. Adam, where are you, pal?
Yeah, you can find me over at maccast.com, and Maccast on iTunes, and Maccast on all of the social medias, and also weekly at the iOS Show at theiOSshow.com.
Excellent, mate. Thank you very much for coming along. Patrice.
Well, as always, every week here on the Mac Show, and everything I do on thepatrice.com.
Excellent, mate. My name's Ewan Rankin. You can get me at Ewan Rankin on Twitter. We'll be back again next week with the Mac Show as normal, 4 p.m. on a Friday, and it should be a good old time. Yeah, come and join us. It's good fun. It's a way to start the weekend, that's for sure. Thanks for listening.